shadowy figures filmed walking through an empty jet bridge at a Thai airport. A massive disc keeps pace with a commercial jet over the Aegean Sea, and decades after Flight 401 crashed in the Everglades, crew members who died that night were reportedly seen haunting other planes. These are mysterious paranormal events captured by airplane passengers. Back in 2017, this video started spreading online, and it had people pretty creeped out. It was filmed at Phuket International Airport in Thailand. The story goes that a pilot was the one who caught it. The camera is pointed at this jet bridge, the tunnel thing that connects the airport gate to the plane, and you can clearly see these shadowy human shapes moving inside it. The problem is, the jet bridge was supposed to be completely empty. No boarding, no staff. Yet the figures look like they're just walking along, like normal passengers heading to their seats. The footage blew up on Thai social media first before jumping over to international sites. The story goes the airport is haunted, tied to accidents that have happened there in the past. The figures don't move like random light flares. They have the shape and pace of actual people. The video never really got a clear explanation. On March 28, 2018, a passenger flying over the Aegean Sea to Athens, Greece, captured this footage. Harry Forides filmed this really strange object from his plane window that looked like it was keeping pace with the jet. He shared the footage on YouTube and his Facebook page, writing, "It appears to be flying away at right angles from our commercial jet, and somehow without either of us appearing to turn, we end up almost following it." The object in the video looks like a disc sort of thing, moving in a way that doesn't match a normal plane. One YouTube comment read, "That was no plane, that was a huge disc." Another said, "I've never seen a UFO leave a trail like this one. However, the way it turned is something else." Of course, not everyone was convinced of the UFO part. Some argued it was just a jet leaving a contrail, pointing out that it was flying at about a 90-degree angle from Carrie's plane. Still, I mean, the footage is pretty crazy looking. I mean, this thing looks big. On December 29th of 1972, Eastern Airlines Flight 401 crashed in the Florida Everglades while on its way from New York to Miami. The crash happened late at night, and it was deadly. 101 people lost their lives, including all 3 cockpit crew members, 2 flight attendants, and most of the passengers. The crew had gotten distracted by a burnt-out landing gear light. The captain accidentally bumped the yoke, turning off the autopilot, and the plane slowly lost altitude without anyone noticing. In the months and years after the crash, though, rumors started spreading among Eastern Airline employees and some passengers about ghostly sightings. People started saying they were catching glimpses of the deceased crew members, Captain Loft and First Officer Repo, sitting in other planes. The sightings were supposedly only on planes that had parts salvaged from Flight 401. The CEO at the time, Frank Borman, called the stories, quote, garbage. Still, the sightings were happening so often that Eastern actually went to the trouble of removing the salvaged parts from the planes. Fun fact, some of those parts ended up in Ed and Lorraine Warren's occult museum. This one's really weird. So a video went viral of what looks like human figures standing on clouds. It sounds insane, but this footage came from a passenger on a commercial flight, and at first you just see 2 shapes standing there on the cloud cover. Then the camera pans, and suddenly there are more of them, all spaced out, casually hanging out in the sky. I'm not sure what to make of this, but it really does kind of look like people are standing on the clouds. It's pretty nuts. People online went absolutely bananas over this. Myra Moore, a paranormal content creator, posted the clip on X and said, "A passenger on a commercial airline captures what appears to be multiple beings standing on cloud cover. What is going on?" And she tagged it with aliens and paranormal, which just made the speculation explode. Some people have been joking, or maybe not joking, that it's aliens. Others think it's some kind of weird atmospheric effect. I'm not sure what to make of this, but it really does kind of look like people are standing on the clouds. It's crazy. They look to have proportions of actual humans. But I don't know, what do you all think of this one? Make sure to comment down below. Back in October of 2023, 2 videos were posted showing what looked like the same UFO in completely different places. The first clip, uploaded on October 17th to the YouTube channel UFOs, shows a silver orb hovering over Sarasota, Bradenton Airport. The caption read, "A surreal daytime sighting of a steady silver orb over SRQ. Was it a drone, balloon, or something beyond our understanding?" Then the next day, another video popped up of a spinning, flying saucer-like thing filmed from a plane flying from Bogota to Salento in Colombia. People immediately noticed the similarities here. The UFOs in both videos looked almost identical, and some pointed out they even resembled the Pentagon's 2015 gimbal video, which was released in 2020, showing a strange object moving in ways that no known aircraft can. Back in 2023, a Russian flight was delayed after a passenger freaked out. Just before takeoff, a 37-year-old man started shouting that he could see 3 ghosts of Wagner mercenaries who were watching him. Footage of the incident was shared online by an advisor to Ukraine's Interior Ministry, with English subtitles added. In it, the passenger can be heard panicking, yelling, "Stop the takeoff, do it fast, stop the takeoff quickly, do it fast, I can see, stop the takeoff, make a stop." According to Russian news outlets, the man was calm when he first boarded, but suddenly jumped up claiming he was being followed by unknown people from the Wagner private military company. Then he tried to open the plane door and get into the flight deck. Cabin crew couldn't calm him down, so he was eventually just escorted off, and the flight ended up departing about 2 hours late. Now, obviously, this man was suffering from a mental health episode of some kind. Some are saying potential PTSD. I don't think there's been more info on this released to the public, so it's not clear what exactly triggered his hallucinations, but the man is now under care, thankfully. Back in April of 2012, a passenger on a flight over Seoul, South Korea, captured a strange oval white object in the sky, and the video quickly went viral. People were pretty divided over the footage. Aliens for some, and everyday objects like plastic bags or parachutes for others. It's kind of blurry, but you can still make out its shape. The way it moves just doesn't feel normal. Some commenters at the time said it could be a water droplet on the window. I mean, it kind of looks like that at first, but then it moves across the screen and flies up, so that's not the case. Some also said it could be a plastic bag or parachute, but again, the way it moves seems to debunk that as well. So, as always, what do you think? This next story comes from a now deleted Reddit user posting in a thread about creepy aviation stories. They wrote, "A couple years ago, flying from Boise to either LA or San Diego, we were cruising along at 39,000 at night. I had the habit of turning my traffic alert and collision avoidance system onto the setting with expanded view, so you could see airplanes 10,000 plus feet above you. I noticed a set of lights paralleling us, and thinking it was just another plane, I didn't say anything, but then I noticed it wasn't on the TCAS, and it looks higher than us, but still within reason for it to be on the TCAS at 49,000. I keep watching, and finally I ask the captain if he sees those lights, and he says, yeah, probably another plane. And I say, man, I don't know, I've been watching it for a while. No flashing for a beacon or strobe, nothing obvious like that. He says, huh? And we sit there for a few more minutes discussing it, and finally I asked air traffic control, do you have anyone that's a couple miles ahead of us and maybe more than 10,000 feet above us? ATC says, nope, we don't show anything on our end. So we sit there for a few more minutes and ask again with the next sector, and they say, nope, we don't see anything here, but descend and maintain. We descended, and the lights continued on. We were in a part of the world that's pretty notorious for unexplainable things, around central southern Nevada. Don't know what it was, but sometimes I still think about it and wonder. Back in 1975, retired pilot Carlos de los Santos had one of the most terrifying experiences you can imagine while flying back to Mexico City. About an hour into the flight, with the weather clear and the plane running perfectly, he suddenly noticed something glinting near his right wing. It was a silver disc-shaped object, around 13 feet long. Before he could even process it, an identical disc appeared on his left wing, and then, to make things even worse, a third disc came hurling straight at him, barely missing the plane. At that point, Carlos realized he couldn't control the aircraft anymore. He tried moving the controls, but the plane would not respond. In a panic, he called air traffic control, frantically explaining that he'd lost control and was surrounded by UFOs. Then the plane suddenly started climbing, just ascending higher and higher into the sky. Carlos thought he was surely about to die here. There was just no way out, nothing he could do. But miraculously, just as suddenly as this chaos began, the 3 objects just shot off into the distance, and the plane's controls started responding responding normally again. He was finally able to stabilize the aircraft and continue his flight safely. Of course, this left him shaken for years though. A terrifying incident where he felt completely powerless against something that defied all logic and explanation. And finally, from Reddit user Yo Ra Dreaming comes the story of the footsteps. Overnight transatlantic 777 during the height of the pandemic. Middle of the night, I want to stretch my legs, so I go for a walk down the back of the aircraft and back up the other aisle. Only a handful of passengers on board and most are sleeping. There's no one down the back, and so as I start back up the other side, I hear what sounds like the cadence of a child's footsteps behind me. I figure some little kid has seen me going down the other aisle and followed me, so I turn around to say hi. Nothing there. No one for 10 to 15 rows either side. It was a clear as glass night. No chop most of the way, just ocean and dark. No idea what it was. I've been your host, James. I'll catch you, yes, you specifically, next time.